We have a couple of boards and commissions to discuss, and Emily Brown and Mary Block are here to testify about those, and they are from the Department of Financial Regulations. So the first one we have is Surplus Lines Insurance Multi-State Compliance Compact Commission.
Great, thank you. Emily Brown for the Department of Financial Regulation. So the first commission that was on our list was the Surplus Lines Insurance Multi-State Compliance Compact Commission. And that statute and the commission was actually repealed in 2019 and replaced with a blanket surplus tax in Vermont. So I'm not sure if you'd like me to give background on what the commission was, or if it's enough information just to know that the commission was repealed.
If it's been repealed, I think that address it, because
yeah,
we're not, certainly wouldn't reinstate it, and
right, exactly.
We don't need to repeal it because it's been repealed.
Right. Yeah. It's my first time at one of these sunset advisory committees, so I didn't know process wise, but that's great. And then the next one on our list was the Interstate Insurance Product Regulation Commission. I'm going to let my colleague Mary Block speak to that commission.
Hi, this is Mary Block, and honestly, this is my first time here too, so not sure exactly what you'd like from us. So, the Interstate Insurance Product Regulation Commission is a multi-state commission that's governed by a compact enacted by each of the states that's interested in participating. It is used to coordinate the review, filing, and regulation of life insurance, annuity, disability, and long-term care insurance products. Currently, there are 45 states plus the Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia that participate in the compact. And the commission consists of a member that represents each state in order to accomplish those goals of coordination and uniformity across the lines of business that are covered by the compact.
So this is we would have no ability to change anything, any of the, I mean, since it's a compact, we can't really change anything. And if we bowed out of it, I'm just curious, who are the states that do not participate? Do you know? I think you said 45.
Yeah, there are 45 plus Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia. The states that don't participate currently, off the top of my head, are California, New York, Florida, and I can't remember who the other two are, unfortunately. For their own reasons, obviously, but the other 45 states are participating. Delaware was the last state to join within the last month.
Right, so I'm a little confused here. So this is really, it's a compact, a multi-state compact that we're a member of.
Yes.
How many representatives does Vermont have on that?
So we have one official representative, Commissioner Pichek, and then he is able to appoint proxies to act on his behalf. So there are myself, Emily, and Kevin Gaffney, who is the head of the insurance division, all act on various committees on behalf of Commissioner Pichek.
Okay, thank you. Seems to me stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of the reason why.
I assume that Commissioner Pichek would like to remain a member of the compact.
Yes.
Any other questions?
No, it seems pretty obvious to me that the position is, if we were to not belong, it would be much more difficult to do what the compact does. So
yeah,
I'm fine leaving it.
Boy,
Thank
you
you.
guys really lucked out today.
Yeah. Your first time, it was pretty quick.
There is one more.
Oh, okay.
So the next one we took a look at was the Vermont Educational Health Benefits Commission. And I just want to apologize in advance. The questionnaire I sent over had a few blatant typos. So I just want to apologize for that in advance. But this commission was established in 2019 to study whether and how there should be the establishment of a single statewide health benefit plan for all the teachers, administrators, and other employees of the supervisory unions in school districts. So this was a group of stakeholders that were brought together to create a report that was delivered to the legislature, I believe, in November of 2017, which was its intent was to offer information on whether a statewide benefit for the teachers and the other employees that I mentioned was feasible. And that report, I actually did provide a link to it within the questionnaire, was issued and delivered to the legislature in 2017. So at this point, it's the department's position that the intent of the commission was fulfilled and it is no longer needed at this point in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent job. That was easy.
I think we ought to give them a hard time anyway. Just,
Yeah, right. Throw me some curveballs.
yeah, let's see. In the Senate anyway, when you give your first report, you usually get
Yeah.
razzed a little bit. And so since this was your first, but I can't think of anything.
How much snow are we gonna get this winter?
Oh, I would never answer that.
I don't have any more questions.
Anybody have any more questions with respect to these two?
Matt, are you okay?
Yes, I have no questions.
Great. Thank
All
you
right,
so much.
well, thank you very much for coming in to testify via Zoom.
All right.
Thank you very
Have a-
much.
Have a great rest of
Thank
your
you.
day. Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Well, we are moving very quickly. So we might want to take decisions on this, but then
Yeah.
it's from talking to Andrea, there are two more that we're supposed to review this afternoon.
Sales and Use Tax Study Committee and that.
And the committee to examine strategies to enhance the software and information technology in Vermont. But I don't believe we have a witness for either of those. So we could discuss these three DFRs and then look at the other two. And I think Cameron can help us
Yeah.
walk through the last two,
Okay,
which I believe are really just committees that were set up to provide a single report.
like more like task forces.
Yeah.
We have to get our terminology a little bit better. And I think the pension task force is
Good
exactly
example.
what it should be. It's a task force and then it's done. So, okay. Well, it's done whether.
So I will move to keep the Surplus Lines Insurance Multi-State Compliance Compact Commission.
I agree.
Any discussion?
Wasn't that the commission that was repealed? She said it was repealed in 2019.
Yes, it was.
Oh,
Right.
you're on the next one.
So it's 156 is what you're looking at.
So,
The interstate insurance
Yes.
regulation.
so
Oh, yeah, that's the
Under
concept.
surplus.
Right.
So the surplus lines has been repealed,
Right.
but so we don't technically need to take any action as long as we can confirm that
Yeah.
it was repealed. And it was?
Let me confirm that.
Okay.
And that it was removed from the books somehow. I mean, if it was set up as a legislative, I don't know if it was, is it in the statutes? And we need to make sure that we take it out if it is.
Yeah, it's a Title 8.
Piggyback on Brian's motion that we keep the Interstate Insurance Product Regulation Commission, but we sunset the Vermont Education Health Benefits Commission.
Thought it was already repealed.
No,
No? Okay,
but it was convened just for that one purpose of
okay.
going through and establishing whether they should have a statewide, and which they did.
Yeah.
So they hadn't met in 2.5 years.
Are you using the term sunset
sorry.
because that's the name of our committee as opposed to repeal? Is there a difference
Oh.
in your mind?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay, I
Sorry,
just
repeal-
wondered.
No, that's fair. I would,
So repeal.
sunset sounds softer.
It does.
Okay. Repeal.
I just wondered, I
No,
wasn't,
I hear you.
I'm okay with both of those.
Me too.
But and
Me
we
three.
should, three, yeah, but the first one, we should just make sure that it's no longer in the
It
statute.
is no longer in the statute.
Okay.
It was repealed in 2019.
Right, okay.
That's right.
In 2019, that was us,
Yeah,
was it?
yeah.
That was the first year we met, I think.
Right, but
But we didn't look at any DFR
no, we had, this is the first time.
commissions or boards.
Oh, I wonder who, so, okay.
Right.
Pretty good day on Monday. Oh, so,
All right, so have we taken action with respect to the other two?
no, not official.
Okay,
We have a,
do we have a motion
we do,
on both of them or just one?
well, it depends. I sort of modified Brian, so I lumped the two in together, that we keep one and repeal the other.
Okay, what about the third one?
The third one has been repealed.
Okay, then I'll second the motion.
I just want to be clear. So the interstate insurance we're keeping,
The compact.
Com-
Mhm.
and Vermont education, based on their recommendation, we're getting rid of.
We'll repeal.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
And the other one, the third one has already been repealed.
correct.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
all in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Aye.
Right, so Ameren, you walk us through the sales and use tax study committee and the committee to examine strategies to enhance the software and information technology in Vermont.
So before we jump there, I'm just gonna ask a kind of a maybe philosophical question. So on this, the one that we repealed, the health insurance one, I don't remember the entire title, and it is on here. They presented a study, and they presented their report and their recommendations to the legislature. I would be very curious, and that isn't our committee's jurisdiction at all, but I'd be very curious about whether any of those recommendations were actually instituted
Mhm.
or not. Because sometimes I think we set up these committees to look at things and come up with recommendations, and then they're presented to us and we just go, oh,
Nice job.
nice job, thank you.
But wasn't that the group that the statewide discussion for teachers' healthcare was a result of that commissions?
What is that, did it,
I
did
is that what it is?
statewide.
Right,
Okay,
that's where we are. now.
Okay,
I think
all right.
That's was a result of that.
oh, okay, I just wondered,
Yeah, because that's a good point. A lot of times. Work is.
mhm.
So I just had one quick question. So they produced a report in 2017. And the subject seems to be one that would be of interest, that you create a broad umbrella for all of these organizations. Has that been done, or was the report ever reviewed, or what?
Answer that question. Matt, I believe that, you know how we have a statewide negotiation now for teachers' healthcare?
Yep.
I believe that was the result of this group, or one of the results of that group in this report.
Okay. So they acted on the report.
Yes, yeah.
That's probably the first time I've ever seen that transpire, that somebody took a report and did something with it. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm glad that worked out.
Okay.
Cameron. The Sales and Use Tax Study Committee.
Yes. So let me go back to the 2012 session materials. These both were committees that were established by Act 143 of 2012, calling for a report. One report, and just pull up the language so I can read it to you. These were both added to the what you could call the miscellaneous tax bill that year. One of them was tax related, the other one was a bit more economic development related. So the first committee here was in section 53 called the Study Committee on Sales Tax, which was established to examine the sustainability of the sales and use tax in the context of Vermont's changing economy. The committee was composed of 7 members, 4 members of the General Assembly, and 3 members that were appointed. See, 2 were appointed by the governor, and 1 was appointed by the Secretary of Administration. So the committee was to study how to make Vermont's sales and use tax more sustainable and equitable in light of Vermont's changing economy. Specifically, the committee shall consider the taxation of software, platform, and infrastructure as services accessed remotely, taxation and sourcing of sales and tangible personal property made via the internet, and the feasibility of taxing services more broadly than under current law. So the committee had the assistance of the Office of the Legislative Counsel, the Joint Fiscal Office, and the Department of Taxes. By January 15, 2013, the committee shall report to the Senate Committee on Finance and House Committee on Ways and Means its findings and any recommendations for legislative action. And then there is a reimbursement section for per diems and reimbursement of expenses. So that was the charge. There was a report that was submitted. I could find that and send it to you all if you would like. I went back and looked. I could not find any committee meetings or any committee pages for this committee since 2013 or 2012, actually. And shall I stop there? Or do you want me to go into the next one?
No, let's talk about this one first.
Sure.
Okay.
How many times since then has this area been studied?
Not by this particular
No,
committee,
I
but
know.
yeah, I
I'm just
know.
saying about once a year,
Yeah.
so it's like it's.
And we had legislation on this past session, I
We did.
believe. Yeah,
Yes.
that came out of House Ways and Means.
Right.
Or at least it was reported to us from House Ways and Means.
Well, I would certainly move that we would repeal study committee, sales and use study.
Second. Yeah, it doesn't appear that it's met since
2013.
9 years ago.
Right.
Well, it was created just to do that one thing and do a report,
And I
right?
did a
We did it.
report.
They did a report, so, yeah. I think that makes me think that we have to be, when we're setting up task forces or whatever they are, we have to be very clear to put in there that it ends at a certain date. I mean,
Great.
that's what we did with the pension task force, is that it says as a certain date, it's over, it's done, it's so, but apparently we don't do that with a lot of things.
Cameron, is there any guidance to legislative council about setting up these types of committees, about making sure they get sunsetted, or?
So we have drafting guidelines on establishing committees. There's less guidance on setting up sort of one-time, one delivery focused groups like task force, work study groups. I know I have seen in doing the review of all of the legislation from 2021, I can tell you that nearly all of the task forces and work study groups do say in there, this group shall cease to exist on X date.
Oh, good.
So it is a common drafting practice. But I did make a note to myself to follow up and make sure that it's in our drafting guidelines as well.
Oh, good.
So that it is at least something that's protected by legislative session, but the committee doesn't happen to think of it.
To follow up on Jeanette's form of comment, it does seem that we need to be very clear about whether it's going to be a committee or it's a task force. And I would think that, you know, if it's deemed a task force, then there is a sunset date. I mean, it's like there should be some differentiation between the two going forward so that there's not any confusion.
Well, you've got two other entities, if you will, boards and commissions as well, so.
And councils.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right, and that's an excellent point. I don't know if there's a way to sort of,
to me, a commission would imply a single focus. You know, do it and you're done.
Yep.
A board is more sustaining, I think, by definition. I don't know, but a council probably is as well. I don't know. But your point's well taken that regardless of what it's called, there has to be some sort of look down the road to say, hey, after a certain amount of time, we need to take another look at this.
Right.
Well, we do have now, I think, that they get reviewed every 5
I was
years.
just gonna say, did that language actually get passed that every board and
I don't
commission and
remember.
council and everything
think so.
I
comes back?
We talked about that at our last meeting.
Right.
can't remember.
About introducing, how we would go about introducing legislation to implement that.
Because we did it with the reports. And it seems to me we could do it the same way so
Right.
that they sunset after 5 years. Well, some of them you probably don't want to have the UVM Board of Trustees sunset after 5 years and have to take it off.
Probably not a good idea.
But on most of them, the legislative ones, clearly we should. The ones that
But
are,
even if there's a sunset, it just requires a policy committee to take a look at it
right,
to determine whether the sunset should be extended for another 5 years. It just forces the legislature to do something.
yeah.
Doesn't mean it's going to go away. So,
No, I just would, with some of them though, I think that it could be a little bit of a waste of time for committees if they have to take some testimony and look at whether the UVM Board of Trustees should be eliminated or not. And there will be people who come in and say, yes, it should be. I mean, it's, so it does.
No, we should have a carve out for
For
like
certain.
UVM Board of Trustees.
And VSAC and I don't know who else, state colleges.
Yeah.
But certainly we should, the ones that are established by the legislature should have a sunset, I would think. Although the UVM Board of Trustees is established by the legislature
Right.
via charter, right? So,
We established most everything. So I mean. but we
So,
could-
Can I ask a quick question? Since
Sure.
somebody brought up the pension committee, not to get into their results, but do they have a sunset too?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's February or it's just, it exists long enough so that the members can provide testimony to the legislative session,
Yeah.
this session,
I
and
think
then
it's
it dies.
22.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So did we vote on the sales and use tax study committee?
No, okay. All in favor of repealing the sales and use tax study committee?
Yes,
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
All right, Amber, committee to examine strategies to enhance the software and information technology in Vermont.
Yes, this
Which
committee,
sets up another argument for maybe we should shorten names of a certain committee.
this committee was established in section 53A of Act 143 of 2012. The committee is created to examine the strategies the state could implement to further enhance the dramatic growth of Vermont's software development and information technology sector. Membership is 7 members. The Speaker of the House shall appoint 1 member of the House. The Committee on Committees shall appoint 1 member of the Senate. The governor shall appoint 1 member of his or her choosing. 4 members of the committee shall be as follows: 3 members representing the Vermont Software Developers Alliance, and the Secretary of the Agency of Commerce and Community Development or his or her designee. The powers and duties, the committee shall study ways to encourage the continued growth of investment and job creation in the software and information technology sector. The committee shall seek to develop strategies to assist software and new media entrepreneurs to start new businesses in Vermont and to foster growth among established software businesses. The committee shall also review workforce training and education opportunities as they apply to the software and information technology sector. The committee shall review and make recommendations as it sees fit regarding the impact of current state programs and regulations, including existing economic incentives and current taxation policies. The committee has the assistance of the Office of Legislative Counsel, the Joint Fiscal Office, and the Department of Taxes. By January 15th, 2013, the committee shall report to the Senate Committees on Finance and on Economic Development, Housing and General Affairs, and House Committees on Ways and Means and on Commerce and Economic Development on its findings and any recommendations for legislative action. And there is a section for allowing per diems and reimbursement of expenses. There was a report that was submitted by this committee as directed by January 15th, 2013. And as far as I can find in any of our records, the committee has not met since.
Yeah, I can confirm that. I looked too. It does not exist anymore.
So I'll move to repeal. Here we go. The committee to examine strategies to enhance the software and information technology sector in Vermont.
Second,
You have to say the whole thing. But you
Okay, I
just-
I second the motion to repeal the committee to examine strategies to enhance the software and information technology sector in VT.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, where are we now? And I apologize for my lack of paperwork. My chart is downstairs in the committee room and I just didn't stop to get it this morning, but I will run down.
That's it for today.
We are finished.
Really?
Yes.
Hmm.
No, we were very efficient this morning.
We didn't set up enough.
I guess not,
Yeah,
but you don't know because
I know.
you don't know whether there'll be a lot of discussion about something or not.
Yeah, and the DFR ones, because we hadn't done it before. We put it-
Monday looks like it's gonna be really packed.
So there's been a change in the agenda.
Oh,
Monday.
Well, we can talk about the agenda on there. Andrea, do you wanna just
Oh, I thought I had-
Department of Labor is going to be the sole witness for Amanda Wheeler for
Oh,
the Department of Labor.
Oh.
And she is not available 11:30 to 2, so I'm going to try to fit her in the morning. There's 5, I think, that she's going to provide testimony on. So if she can do that, we would adjourn after her testimony. There was nothing else on the schedule, just labor.
so we could start at 9 with Amanda until 11:30?
Yep.
Is it likely we could get through all of it?
do we want to,
So
there's 5, right?
Yeah.
So there'd be 5. I think we could get through it all and then she could leave and then we can make our decisions with respect to each of those 5.
Okay. And that's the only witness?
Yes.
Oh,
and is that the only thing we have on the agenda? Should we put more on to try and get through more as long as we're here, or do we want to leave early? I mean,
well, I mean, but that's Monday. Today's Friday. Is it?
yeah, that's true.
It's impossible to.
So I do have a process question now, and that, like today, I'm very pleased that we got through what we got through, but I know that a few people had to come a long ways to get here. And so Zoom wise, we're saying that if you're not here in person, you can't vote. You can't vote, so you do have to be here.
That is my understanding of the, well, that's true for just
join.
joint legislative committees. If there are others on it, I'm not sure about the rule about that. Do you know, John?
I do not.
Okay. I mean, it's not a problem for me, but I'm just thinking of other folks that, what commitment, you're gonna spend more time traveling than you are.
Yeah, understood.
That's why I wondered if we wanted to, well, although it's Monday, we can't really do that. Although we could start to have some conversations about per diems. I don't know what we would, without some research work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian,
I show the Board of Liquor and Lottery on the 6th as well. Is that not true?
No, that was not scheduled.
187. Maybe I copied it wrong.
I have a
I
question
serve-
about Monday.
So we decided,
I know we're taking up the Department of Labor boards, and I believe the State Workforce Development Board is on the agenda. I'm currently, my other hat is the executive director of the State Workforce Development Board. So I'm assuming obviously I would need to recuse myself from voting on that. But would you like me to participate in the discussion to answer questions or stay out of the discussion entirely?
participate.
I had liquor lottery for 12/6 as well.
Okay.
I think we backed off of that.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Can I ask a question? Are you
Yep.
talking, Brian, are you talking about the Department of Liquor and Lottery Task Force or the board?
The board.
Board, okay, all right, thank you.
So Monday, we have only 5 boards and commissions to consider, all of which fall under the Department of Labor, correct? Yep. We're going to see Amanda at 9 and hopefully be able to finish up with her at 11:30.
That gives half an hour for each one.
Yeah, that should be fine. And then the question is, do we just go home or do we try to do something else?
I'm okay either way. I do have a Zoom thing. For some reason, I thought I had judiciary on Monday instead of this. But I do think I have a Zoom meeting from noon to about 1.
So you'll have to
But-
stay here.
But yeah, so I would stay here anyway for that and just go down in one of the
Yeah.
offices. And I'm okay trying to have some conversation about other things on Monday or leaving. So it's,
Have we received any of the testimony yet for Monday?
We don't know.
We do have a confirmation of width, so.
We do, and they were working on a questionnaire. I thought I would have them by the end of the day yesterday, but I do not. I will follow up with that.
So can I ask a quick question about per diems? Are we going to, at some point, discuss how that is to be structured? Or, I mean, we discussed it a little bit last time, but have we taken any further action? Has there been any research, et cetera? And are we going to discuss that before?
I have to admit that I can't remember what we came up with last time when we talked about this. But I think that you're right. We should have some discussion about how we're going to approach it. Are we going to find out, I'd like to know which departments or boards or whatever they are have permission to define their own per diems, because some of them do, and how they got that permission and how they determine what those are. And if we were to increase, say, to $100 is the base per diem, what would that mean budgetarily? Because we did that I had a bill a couple of years ago to increase jury duty. That's $30 that people get paid for jury duty. And I had a bill to increase it to $50. And if we had just done an inflationary, it would have been like $52. So it was reasonable. And it wasn't accepted because of the impact on the budget.
Really?
And I don't remember how much it was, but it was considerable. Because you take 12 people for every jury and every day. And so you have a 3-day jury trial, and that's 36 times 50 for that one case. And you have 12 courts. So
Yeah, well, logic would seem to indicate if we went from 50 to 100, it would double whatever the current amount
right,
is.
right. That's
And I
what
don't know what that is. but
I don't know either, but I'd like to find out
That
what.
would be substantial too, I think.
And I also would like to find out what would be the rationale for not just telling agencies and departments to put it in there, to put an amount in their budget and figure out what they're gonna give.
I remember we had that, and I
Yeah.
have to say, I find that intriguing, that idea.
I mean, and there might be arguments against it, but I'd like to have the discussion.
Right.
Sure, well, we could do that.
Well, I think the other part of it is, all boards and commissions are created equal, but some are more equal than others.
Mhm.
And the time commitment is certainly a lot
Sure.
different. And
Well, I can tell you, the UVM Board of Trustees is a very active, hardworking board, and there's no per diems.
Hmm.
You don't get anything.
Sure.
You get lunch.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
There's no pay at all.
Are you looking for a motion to adjourn?
Right now,
Or, maybe
So-
this afternoon? Or-
Just to clarify, so we're gonna put per diems on the agenda for next Monday.
I would,
Sure.
As a committee discussion.
yeah,
Thank you.
I guess at 11:30. Or we can break for
No,
lunch at
we'll-
11:30 and come back and start time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't come back till like 1 or 1:15.
Well, we could, at 11:30, we can take votes on the 5 labor boards and commissions.
Okay,
Then we could go to lunch. Give you time for your Zoom call,
Yeah, okay.
and then do pretty.
So it's a little hard for me to follow the discussion. What's being proposed? So
Monday?
for Monday, we're saying that we will hear from Amanda from Amanda Wheeler from 9 till 11:30 on her 5. That gives about a half an hour for each one.
Yep.
Then we'll, at 11:30, she has to leave us, so we'll discuss and take votes on those 5. And then
right,
we'll have a noon break, and then we'll come back and we'll start having a general discussion on per diems.
okay. And the only thing I would like to offer is the last time we met, I had indicated that I'd like to take a little broader look at per diems and perhaps, I think John mentioned the NCSL, sort of taking a look at some of the, or asking them if there are other states that are doing it in a different way or more effectively, et cetera. And I think that would be valuable to at least have, rather than just looking at maybe a more targeted perspective. That's all.
John just said he would check that out with NCSL.
Okay, thank you.
And Matt, just again, so you understand, it would probably be a good idea to be in person Monday, because
Yeah,
you can't vote otherwise. Even though you voted
well,
today.
listen, I'll guarantee, Brian, I'm going to be there and I'm going to sit right next to you. just
All
so
right,
you know.
it's a deal. Thank you. I wasn't trying to be a wise guy.
No.
Okay, does that,
Yeah, that sounds great.
so it might be helpful if anybody has, and I will have a little bit of time this weekend that I could do this. If anybody has questions that relate to the per diem issue to throw into the mix for discussions, and if you want to send them to me, I'd be happy to put those together and get them out to us sometime on Sunday afternoon.
I guess the only other question for me would be, is per diem just a fixed amount apart from mileage and apart from
Mhm.
a meal?
Mhm.
So are there cases where people get all 3 of those?
Mhm.
There are. Because that's another interesting side ramp. In other words, if you're gonna get $100 a day and then you're gonna get $50 for mileage and then you're gonna get 25 for a meal, it begins to be pretty expensive, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, the per diem is for your time.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay,
and some places might not pay mileage and some might give you a lunch and some bring your brown bag.
Yeah.
I don't know how that all works with all of them.
so to Rob's point, all boards and commissions are created equal, except some of them aren't.
Right.
Some of them are better to be on and some aren't quite as good, I guess.
A friend of mine who was in politics for a while. And I asked if he would help out a group. And he said, I'll work with them and I'll help them out, but I'm not going to be on their board. I'm not going to be on any more boards unless they pay me big money. And I thought that was,
Yeah.
I'm looking for those boards.
So we have standard, it's what, 32 VSA 1010? That's the standard per diem and expenses language. So I think that includes the $50 a day per diem plus expenses, which are mileage
Okay,
and meal.
okay.
So there are some boards and commissions that don't follow that section and have higher compensation, like the Green Mountain Cares Board.
Well, I
Got
think that,
statute that
yeah,
addresses that.
No, there's always statute, but some just.
Right.
And then we did have cases where some boards and commissions, they were totally silent about any per diem at all.
Commissioner Hodges.
Can I,
yeah.
can I make a suggestion that we at least touch base with the Department of Human Resources and maybe the commissioner? They, of course, negotiate all the contracts for the various groups. And I know in some of those contracts, there's extra benefit. There are other benefits. So if you work in corrections, you get free uniforms or something of that nature. I don't know the exact details, but I think they might be willing, they might have some valuable testimony we might want to hear regarding that. That's all.
We can ask them. I'm not sure they would have much to say on per diems, but because those aren't contractual.
Okay, all right. I just think that sometimes they're the folks that really dig deep and have a broad knowledge of compensation issues for all types of state employees. Now, I agree it's state employees, but the knowledge that they possess might be valuable for us. And if they say, no, we don't have anything to add, then so be it. They don't have anything to add.
We can contact them and see if they think they have something for us.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Anything else that we should?
No.
Okay,
All right,
Go ahead, Rob.
I make a motion to adjourn.
all in favor?